Are you Frank's wife?
Yes, my husband is Frank. Who are you exactly?
I'm the police. I have something to tell you urgently.
The police? What do the police want with me? And how do the police know my contact information?
That doesn't matter now. Actually, there's an arrest warrant for your husband for fraud. Could you come to the police station immediately?
Wait a minute, I don't understand what you're talking about.
It's a fraud case with a damage amount of $20 million. You can't deny it.
Are you really the police?
Yes?
Well, I think it's strange that the police would contact me through a message, and I've never heard of the police sending messages to a suspect's family. No matter how you look at it, it seems suspicious.
You just don't know about it. Nowadays, it's very common for the police to send messages. It doesn't matter if the recipient is a regular person or a suspect.
I've never heard of such a thing. It's so suspicious it's almost laughable. Anyway, my husband has an arrest warrant, right? Can you tell me more about what happened?
What good does that do for you to know? I just said your husband is the culprit in a fraud case. I can't tell you anything more because the investigation is ongoing. My job is to arrest your husband.
Why won't you tell me about the details of the case? If you suspect someone of a crime who has no memory of it, you should tell them about it. It makes me even more uncertain.
It seems like you don't understand the seriousness of this matter. It's a $20 million fraud case, you know? In order to prevent further damage, it is essential that your husband is arrested. Please don't sweat the small stuff and have your husband turn himself in.
This story is jumping around too much, but as you said, the case seems to be serious.
Finally, do you understand now? Then please tell your husband to turn himself in as soon as possible.
But even if he turns himself in, it's not like the sentence will be reduced, right? What do you police think about that?
We believe that unless he admits his guilt, his sentence won't be reduced even if he turns himself in. If there is a settlement with the victim, the situation could be different though.
Are you talking about a settlement now?
Actually, fortunately, the victim is willing to agree to a settlement. However, the condition is $20,000 as the settlement amount. How about that? Isn't it a good deal?
Hold on a second. This doesn't sound right. Are you taking advantage of me just because I'm an ordinary person?
I'm telling you this with all sincerity. How about it? As for me, I think it's a very good deal. The victim is willing to forgive for $20,000.
Let me clarify. You're saying the amount of the damage in this fraud case is $20 million, right? Are you saying that paying 0.1% of the damages is enough to be forgiven?
The victim is willing to accept it. The amount of money doesn't matter, does it?
Please think calmly. The damage amount is $20 million? I can't believe the victim who accepts to forgive with only $20,000.
Isn't there a reason for that?
I cannot answer that matter. Well, the money that was damaged cannot be accounted for.
Huh? What does that mean?
Oops, I talked too much. I cannot answer any more as it is confidential information.
Suspicious. There is a reason why you cannot answer anything, right?
There is nothing really.
Dodging the question is useless. At least there is some guilt, isn't there?
Well, I won't deny that.
So there must be some circumstances on the victim's side, right? Or rather, there's a suspicion of money-related crime? Shouldn't we arrest the victim first in order of priority?
The suspect in this case is your husband. Are you blaming others now? Regardless of what you say, it's your responsibility to apologize to the victim.
Before that, we have the right to know the truth. There are unnatural and vague points in the story. Actually, we have no knowledge of the $20 million fraud case. The police should give a satisfactory explanation.
I've been telling you since earlier, haven't I? Your husband has swindled $20 million from the victim in a fraud case. But the victim is not blaming your husband and is offering a settlement. I think it's a great opportunity.
Then please let me meet the victim in person.
That's not possible. We also have an obligation to protect the victim. If we accept the settlement now, the case will be closed.
Does the victim have an obligation to protect even if he's a criminal?
Well...
What you're saying is completely ridiculous. Your words are full of contradictions. You must be hiding something.
There's no point in saying anything more. Please accept the settlement while the victim's mind hasn't changed.
Don't you realize that your words and actions are strange?
Stop joking around. Don't make me laugh anymore, okay?
No, I'm telling the truth. Insulting me is also an insult to the victim. Please refrain from making rash actions.
Nothing I say seems to get through to you. That's enough. Let's put an end to this conversation.
Huh? What's happened all of a sudden? Are you planning to turn your husband into the police?
Let's stop now, Mr. Fraud.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
I'm getting tired of you pretending to be the police. And why do I have to confess to a crime I've never heard of? Did you think you could fool me, fraudster?
There's no reason for you to call me a fraudster. If you keep disrespecting the police, you'll regret it later.
Stop it! I'm not going to be fooled by such a clumsy act. Shouldn't the police use their brains a little more?
You don't have good listening skills, do you? If you're going to behave like that, let me confirm one last time.
What now? I don't care what a con man like you says to me anymore.
So you have no intention of accepting a settlement?
I told you I'm not going to answer such a false settlement. And besides, the police would never send a message like this.
I understand why you're afraid to admit your husband's guilt. However, I think it would be beneficial for both of us to settle this out of court.
Can I ask you something in return? What do you think will happen to you if we settle this out of court?
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind. I don't think you'll believe me, but I'll tell you anyway.
What are you trying to say?
The thing is, I'm actually a police officer.
What?
I already knew that you were a fraudster, so I know what you're trying to do.
Hold on a second. I never told you that. I don't understand what's going on.
This is actually the first time I've revealed my identity to you. Even though I identified myself as a police officer, I thought I'd keep my identity hidden until I could extract information from the other party.
That's cowardly. You're the one deceiving people and might be a fraudster.
Shall we talk about your identity then?
What are you talking about? I'm a police officer, as you can see. I'm Paul, a police officer.
You never learn, do you? Even when I myself am saying that I'm a police officer, you still pretend to be one. You're quite daring.
I'm a genuine police officer. I've been saying that from the beginning.
Since you seem to lack understanding, let me tell you. Even without saying who's at a disadvantage in this situation, you should understand, right? If you're a police officer, you should know what kind of crime it is to deceive someone and try to take $20,000 from them.
There's no way I could be at a disadvantage. Since I haven't received any money, I won't be guilty of anything. Even if I'm a police officer, isn't my head too stupid?
Isn't it you who has a poor understanding? Don't you know the term attempted fraud?
What did you say?
Even if you don't take any money from the victim, the act of deceiving them is a crime in itself. You pretended to be a police officer and fabricated a non-existent fraud case. And you tried to negotiate a settlement with the victim and take their money. What you're doing is just like what a fraudulent person would do.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm a police officer. It's unthinkable for a police officer to deceive someone. You should know it would cause a major problem if I did that.
So you're really insisting that you're a police officer?
Yes, that's right. How many times do I have to say it for you to understand? Even after all this, you still don't believe me.
Well, if you really are a police officer, can you tell me the name of the police station you're affiliated with?
Huh?
What's wrong? It's not like I'm asking you a real difficult question. As a police officer, you should be able to answer at least which station you belong to, right?
That's what I've been saying all along. I can't disclose my personal information like that because it's confidential. It's strictly forbidden for me to tell civilians my affiliation.
I see. Got it. Do you think just saying it's confidential information will make the other person back off no matter what? Now that I know you're not a police officer, I have confirmation.
Don't make your own assumptions. If you don't stop, I'll arrest you too.
You have a very aggressive attitude. But aren't you forgetting one important thing?
What's the important thing?
As I said earlier, you sent me messages unilaterally, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, so what? I explained that it's common for police officers to send messages nowadays.
You seem to have forgotten something important. Messages have a sender, and the source can be traced. Did you know that?
I've never heard of that before. Are you making things up?
If you were a police officer, that would be common sense. But that's only if you're really a police officer.
So what are you trying to say? I've told you multiple times that I'm a police officer.
It's strange that someone in the police force wouldn't know common sense things. How about you confess to everything here and now?
All right. If my lie is exposed to the real police, there'll be no way to refute it.
Your lies were transparent from the start. You're really not a police officer, are you? Why did you even try to pretend to be one?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a police officer. I thought things would work out if I played the part.
Finally admitting it, huh? I almost fell for your claims. It was worth it for me to act desperately like a police officer, too.
Then, who exactly are you? You seem to know quite a lot about the police.
I'm just an ordinary person. I pretended to be a police officer on purpose to catch you. To be honest, I know little more about the law than most people.
So, you're saying that I felt for your lies?
There's some truth mixed in, you know. And besides, I was also trying to trick you.
You've been making fun of me this whole time? Pay up for deceiving me.
What are you talking about? You were the one who started deceiving people in the first place, right?
Shut up. Now that you've tricked me, you're not getting away with it.
You cannot keep using that threat forever, you know. But it's true that you're not a police officer.
Don't be surprised when you hear this. I actually know Frank.
Frank, my husband?
Yeah, that's right.
So did you get contact information from my husband?
No, that's not it.
Then who did you get it from?
Actually, I got it from your brother.
My brother? Dan?
Yeah, that's right. I met him by chance at a bar.
And how did you get contact information from Dan?
He's a heavy drinker, you know. I got his contact information when he was drunk at the bar.
I see. So why did you do such a thing? Why did you try to swindle $20,000 from Frank?
Isn't Frank a lawyer? And a popular one at that, who was able to start his own firm shortly after graduating from college. Taking only $20,000 from a guy like that won't hurt him at all.
But that doesn't make it okay to do something like this.
Instead of complaining, just pay me $20,000 quietly. Otherwise, Frank will be in for a world of pain.
Fine, if that's what you want. But if you harm my husband, I won't forgive you.
I'll say it one last time.
Not just Frank, but I'll also harm you, his wife. If you don't want that, pay me the $20,000 quickly. That's all. Goodbye. Wait a minute. Hold on. What was that all about?
Oh well, it was a good way to kill some time, I guess. I must have had a bad dream or something.
Hey, did you prepare the money?
Sorry? Who are you?
Hey, don't mess with me. I told you many times already. Don't tell me you forgot. I won't let you get away with saying you forgot.
Are you serious? Do you really think that there are people who would just give away $20,000 to a stranger for no reason?
What did you say? Are you joking or something?
If it was a joke, there might have been some redemption for you. But now that I know you're a fraud, I won't entertain any further conversation with you.
What did you say? So you're saying you don't plan on paying the money?
I've been telling you that from the start. I'm not giving any money to a sleazy con artist like you.
It seems like I have angered you.
You can be angry on your own. It doesn't concern us what happens to you.
Do you think I'm just going to back down like this?
What are you planning to do?
Actually, I'm near your house right now.
What?
Since you underestimated me, I'm going to get back at you completely. I smashed your car window.
So the noise I heard outside earlier was...
Yeah, it was the sound of me breaking your car window.
Do you even understand what you're doing?
I understand perfectly. That's why I'm acting like this.
You are completely insane.
What should I destroy next?
Stop breaking my house anymore. If you don't stop, I'll report it to the real police.
Try to play that foolish game. Next, I'll harm your pet dog.
Stop it. If you harm my dog, I won't forgive you.
Then pay me the money quietly. If you don't pay up soon, you're next.
Don't say stupid things. If you do that, you'll end up in jail.
Do you have a reason why you don't want to pay me the money? For you guys, $20,000 is like pocket change, right? Then I'm telling you, pay up soon.
Please calm down. I understand your point, so please leave the house for now.
Don't mess around with me. Pay me $20,000 right now, or I'll kill your precious pet dog.
I can't pay right now, but please don't kill John. What's it gonna be? I'm telling you, pay me now. Do I look like a patient man? I'm telling you, I can't pay right now. It's not like we have $20,000 lying around in the house.
You're so unprepared. You should have just listened to me from the beginning.
How about we do this? I'll transfer $20,000 to a designated account the next day. How does that sound?
Really?
Yes. So can you just tell me your account number?
Can I trust you?
Yes, you can. In return, please leave our house for right now.
You will definitely transfer $20,000. And if the promise is not kept, I will come to kill John first.
I got it. I will definitely keep my promise.
All right, I have no choice. I'll leave for today.
That's good. I'm struggling with whether to tell the police about that man or keep quiet. He broke into my house without permission and even broke the car window glass. The conditions for reporting to the police are already met. But if I act recklessly and put myself or my family in danger, I don't know what to do. But if I don't take action, I won't know who that man is. I got it. We should investigate that man first and find out his background. Then we should be able to figure out his true intentions. I remember that man's name was Paul, and he got my contact information from my younger brother at the bar. If it's Dan, he might know something about Paul. All right, let's contact Dan. Dan, how are you doing?
Hey, April. I'm doing fine. How about you?
Actually, there's something I want to ask you.
What is that you want to ask me?
Do you know a person named Paul?
Paul? I've never heard of him before. I don't have any acquaintances with that name. What's the matter with him?
I'm being threatened by that man right now. He says he knows you and that you're acquainted with him. I thought you might know something, so I'm asking you.
Paul? I haven't heard of him. I don't know anyone named Paul among my acquaintances.
Do you know anyone who knows a person named Paul?
There might be someone. It's a friend of a friend. The chances are high.
Could you ask your other acquaintances if they know anything? Maybe they'll have some information? Okay, I got it. I'll ask a few of my acquaintances. That would be really helpful. I just got a call from one of my acquaintances, and it's quite promising information.
What kind of information is it?
It seems that I was talking to a stranger at the bar, and I was quite talkative. That's not your information. Does that have anything to do with Paul? It's embarrassing to explain, but it seems that I was heavily drunk at the bar, and I was talking about various things with the person I hit it off with. What did you talk about? Your personal information, for example.
Are you kidding me? It seems like I even told them about our family structure and address. I'm sorry for what I did, even though I was drunk.
Why did you do something like that? I did something really unforgivable. Please forgive me. It can't be helped, can it? But what's important is information about the man named Paul. According to my friend's testimony, I was talking undoubtedly with one man. I assume the stranger I was talking to was Paul. I have the same feeling. Since you talked about my personal information, Paul knows my contact information, and information such as my family structure and my husband being a lawyer has leaked out. This way, everything makes sense. I really did a bad thing, but I really don't know anything about this man named Paul. Then it seems to be okay.
Huh? What do you mean it's okay? The possibility of Paul making contact with you is extremely low.
But if he contacts you, I don't think he can get any more information out of you. But try to avoid going out as much as possible. Do you understand? I understand. I promise. Just be safe. I'll also report it to the police. We don't know when he might break into our home again. I think that's the best choice. Hey, what's going on with the $20,000 payment? I can't see any deposit in my account. How long are you going to make me wait? You're totally underestimating me. You contacted me already, huh? As for the payment, I'd like you to wait a little longer. What are you talking about? I've been telling you to pay me right away since yesterday. Do you want your house to be messed up again? There's a reason for this. Actually, I've been feeling sick, so I can't go to the bank for a while. What did you say? You can't be serious. That's a ridiculous story.
I can't help it. I had a high fever and couldn't go out. With this condition, I might put the wrong amount in the bank.
That wouldn't happen. You don't seem to understand your position. If you refuse to pay, I'll harm you and your family without mercy. You don't have a choice. I know that, and I want to avoid that. So will you accept receiving cash directly? I'll send my husband Frank as my proxy, and he'll give the money to you. What are you talking about? That's not possible. Why not? There's no reason. I told you just transfer the money. That's why I said I'll send Frank as my proxy. Whether it's a transfer or a direct payment, it shouldn't matter as long as you receive the money, right? No, it's no good. That's not what we agreed on originally. I won't allow any changes in payment method in the middle. Okay then. As soon as my health is restored, I'll transfer the money tomorrow. Enough already. I can't keep waiting forever. And I promise I'll keep my word next time. Can you please wait a little longer until tomorrow?
No way. I cannot wait any longer than this.
Please? Even if I'm not feeling well? Alright, I'll wait until tomorrow. But remember the consequences if you don't pay tomorrow.
Hey, what have you done? This is your doing, isn't it? What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. The police are waiting in front of my house.
How dare you report me?
Finally, you realize it, don't you? You have nowhere to run. Surrender quietly. I was stupid to give in to your demands. Do you think I'll back down now? How did you find out where my house is? It's no use trying to escape. I told the police that you're a dangerous criminal. The police won't hesitate to use force. Hold on a minute. You shouldn't know where my house is. How did you manage to identify my place and inform the police? I heard it from my husband, Frank. What? That bastard is harassing me again? Who's really the one harassing whom here? Don't play dumb. Hey, the police are coming into my house. Someone please help me. I don't want to get caught. Reflect on your actions. April, I'm so glad you're okay. It's all my fault. I'm really sorry for causing so much trouble. You bet. It was a real pain. But I know it can't be helped now that you've done it. Do you forgive me? What's the point of being mad at you anymore?
From now on, let's just enjoy alcohol in moderation, even if we love it so much.
Then you might become a little more mature. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. I feel responsible for what happened to you. That's all right. I won't blame you anymore, so please don't worry. Thank you for forgiving me. By the way, how did you corner that fraudster?
Actually, I didn't do much.
He mentioned that he knew my husband, so I used that. What do you mean? Actually, when I first caught his lies, he said I know Frank, which is my husband's name. Then I got information about Paul from my husband and used it to corner the guy. I see. Now I finally solved the doubts that have been bothering me for a long time. Why did that man ask for my contact information instead of Frank's? He knew about Frank. I made a careless mistake, but at first, he wouldn't have known that you were connected to me. So what was the truth in the end? It was just a coincidence. Frank is a lawyer with tight security measures. There's no way such a person would deal with a scammer, probably. So it was just a coincidence that the man was able to contact you. I see. I actually asked Frank if he knew anything about a man named Paul, and then I discovered a surprising fact. What was it? I heard that Paul's wife consulted about domestic violence with you before. Because Frank hinted at taking legal action, Paul seems to have become more subdued. Paul accepted the divorce and his wife ran away from him. So the motive for this blackmail incident was Paul's grudge against Frank. There's always a trigger for everything. I've consulted with Frank about the blackmail. Frank visited Paul's house to push him, who had refused to show up at the office, to a corner. So Frank knew Paul's address. I just told the police about it. After resorting to violence against his wife, he threatened his family of the lawyer he's consulted? What a despicable person. There's something I want to tell you. What is it? You're partly responsible for creating an opportunity for that despicable person to have a grudge against us. Reflect on your actions. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Even so, to make threats against a lawyer, a legal expert's family member, is quite reckless. It's amazing that someone could do such a reckless thing. Paul was arrested for this incident. Now there's no one who will harm me. I can return to my peaceful life. That's good. I'll be careful with my actions from now on.